Hello again, Trey Graham here for the Washington City Paper. You're watching Fringe and Purge, the video edition. It's Saturday, July 22nd, the third day of the Capital Fringe Festival, and I'm back down here again at the Warehouse Theater Complex, pretty much ground zero for Capital Fringe. I'm talking to Aaron Cromie, a Philadelphia-based performer with a specialty in puppetry and masks. He's the guy who created those amazing puppets for the Folger Theater's production of Measure for Measure a few months back. And just so you know, those puppets have been added to the Folger's permanent collection. Anyway, he's here at Capital Fringe with a one-man show, the world premiere of a one-man show called Punch's Progress. It's a kind of travelogue with one of theater's most enduring and most agreeably disagreeable characters.
Well, Puccinella derives from the servant class of Commedia dell'arte. Most people know initially, who know anything about Commedia, understand usually Harlequin or Arlecchino, who's the quick-witted, no, excuse me, not quick-witted, he's the very quick-footed, acrobatic, dim-witted but lovable character. Puccinella is the other side of that servant coin. He's beloved, but for his flatulence, his arthritic hands, back, he's cranky, not very athletic at all, but is a lot sharper with his wit and his mouth.
And let's face it, most people don't know much about Commedia at all, so what you're doing here is you're sort of connecting him to traditions that we do know, right?
Right. My interest for the show came from my initial contact through my theater education, and then I found that I knew who Puccinella and Punch were through a long line of things that I was much more familiar with, like Krusty the Clown and like Ralph Cramden, and of course Don Rickles down further back to Punch and Judy, and before that not much anything else. So my thought was, what if this character wanted to educate someone like me as to why I should care?
Now at the top of the show, Pulcinella speaks exclusively in Italian for about 3 minutes. Cromie admits it's a language he's been working on, but he doesn't actually know all that well just yet. Learning Italian, he says, isn't the only thing he's learned recently. Puppetry and masks themselves are relatively new developments for him.
And then I have a little bit of freedom with my language skills now to improvise and to ask questions and those sort of things. So a little bit of Italian, but I certainly know everything that I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I was educated as a musician and then with acting in there, and then actually the puppetry and mask things are very latent discoveries that I had any sort of skill in just in the last 5 years. So 2001 was the first time I ever made a mask.
And coming up next, a big project for the Philadelphia Fringe Festival involving some puppets you're not likely to see on a Washington stage anytime soon.
Fringe Festival is our 10th anniversary. And so they're remounting one of the first huge successes called I-95, which was a very small scale sort of trailer park cheerleader punk rock musical. And I have to create a gigantic puppet called Big Fat Fucker, who basically is very Punch-like in that way, but he sits in an armchair and he's bigger than any actor. And basically,
Cromie says Friday night's audience didn't seem to want to get down and dirty with him. It's not for any lack of willingness on his part.
So there's that, I don't know. Great. And a big tongue that comes out and bathes one of the lead actresses in the face, and then has to have its head explode at the end of the play. So it's a big task. And it's interesting having read some of the stuff about people's tastes wanting to have things really dirty, like I am here. And it's interesting having read some of the stuff about people's tastes wanting to have things really dirty, like I am very interested in going to the dark side of that sort of thing. And sometimes the night just goes one way or it goes another way. And we had a situation earlier this week. We did a preview, and a girl told a joke that was hilarious and wrong and dirty, and it froze the room, and it just tanked. And it was like, oh no. And we brought it back and had a good time, but it was very interesting to me because I thought the joke was really pretty hilarious. And last night it was just interesting to see how at 5:30 is a different audience than at 10 p.m. at night. And so I felt pretty good about gaining my rhythm here in DC, and I'm looking forward tonight because for me, I riff off of what the audience brings to the table, whether it's, we start off with whether it be nun jokes or gay jokes, or like one of my favorite jokes, and I just didn't think of it last night, is what do you call a lesbian dinosaur?
I don't know, what do you call her?
Like a platypus.
And on that note, thanks for doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Cromie, he'll be here all week, and so will I. For the Washington City Paper and Fringe and Purge, I'm Trey Graham. Thanks for watching.